All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we got to talk about a clash or a beef going on between the red pill and trad cons, aka traditional conservatives, aka people like Ben Shapiro, people like Matt Walsh. As you can see from the tweets here, you got Rollo Tomassi, who is considered the godfather of the red pill. He wrote a series of books called The Rational Male. I don't know how many volumes are out. I don't know how many exist. I think it might be 4 or 5. A lot of people in the red pill space look up to Rollo Tomassi and, you know, all the work that he's done for the red pill. But you got him giving his 8-step fast track to becoming a high value man. And then Ben Shapiro quoted it. And as you can see right here, number 3 says, get a vasectomy in your 20s. Now, this is where a lot of people, even in the red pill space, had some issue with. They had issue with that. And in this clip right here we're going to be looking at, SNEAKO came after Rollo Tomassi's idea of getting a vasectomy, and Myron and Fresh pretty much backed their guy Rollo Tomassi. They couldn't really concede that, you know, that might not be the best idea. You know, getting a vasectomy in your 20s might be a little bit extreme. It might be pretty extreme. You know, because, I mean, let's just be real. Instead of getting a vasectomy, you could just have discipline. Now, in my opinion, you got to be careful how far you go down a rabbit hole when it comes to any one of these pills. The red pill, the blue pill, black pill, green pill, all of these pills that people are taking on the internet. You got to be careful how far you go down a rabbit hole and how deeply you consume this stuff, because life is not exactly the way these guys paint it to be true. Although they make good points, traditional conservatives also make good points. And I guess where red pill guys and traditional conservatives butt heads is the idea of marriage and family. You know, you got Rollo Tomassi talking about getting a vasectomy, and, you know, obviously that goes against what a traditional conservative would stand for. I think the red pill looks at traditional conservatives and thinks that they're naive for thinking that you can just find a girl, get married, buy a house, you know, and, you know, ride off into the sunset and everything will be okay. A lot has changed in the dating marketplace, and, you know, it's a reality that women nowadays do expect a lot more out of men and women in America. Not saying all, of course, but a lot of women in America are not. They just aren't wife. They not wife worthy, and, you know, they aren't as willing to stick around and, you know, stick it out with the man when they have as many options as they have nowadays. And that I'd say that's a pretty accurate diagnosis from the red pill. However, I think traditional conservatives look at the red pill and, you know, they see a lack of fulfillment from the lifestyle that these red pill guys promote. You know, traditional conservatives are typically religious men, or at least men who, you know, use religion, the Bible, God, Jesus Christ, you know what I'm saying, as a measurement and a testament to how they are to carry themselves, you know, in the world. So when they see red pill guys just talking about, you know, smashing 100 women before you can find the right one, you know, they'll say that's, you know, it's pretty immature and you don't really get fulfillment out of that type of life. So I understand where both sides are coming from. I really do. But advising men to get a vasectomy in their 20s to become a high value man very quickly, I can't really get behind that. But we're about to get into this. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe while we watching. Now let's roll it.
Increasing your value when you're young,
becoming successful.
Yeah,
avoid family creation and get a vasectomy.
Yeah, because when you dude, because your value doesn't go up until you're built something, and that's typically going to be in your 30s.
So most guys,
that's what he's saying.
What do they focus on? Girls the whole time. He's saying at this point in your career, when you're on the way up, focus on things that are going to help you move forward in life and become successful.
And get a surgery done that prevents you from having children.
Yeah, but you can always reverse it.
A lot of the times that shit messes up. That's not something you could just like hope that it's going to be okay.
Generally, most men can't control control their urges. So what's gonna happen is they're gonna go fuck around and get somebody pregnant.
This is how you rise up the path to become high status, because you're eliminating all variables that can fuck you up.
Yeah, it's about
That's what he's saying.
Risk mitigation right there.
How many dudes do you know that could have made it to the NBA or could have been a star and an athlete or something that got some chick pregnant? Kids a lot of the times ruin dudes' futures because they have kids prematurely. So he's saying this is the path to becoming a high value man. And then once you become that guy,
reverse
then
the vasectomy.
Reverse the vasectomy.
Yeah.
Do you think that's good advice? I mean, that's good advice if your qualifications of a high value man is a guy with a big body count. But it might be like I thought.
No. He's talking about increasing your value as a man. Of what, like, you're basically what he's doing is he's retard proofing it.
Yeah.
If you have vasectomy and you bust nuts at girls, you're not gonna have a kid, so you're not gonna fuck up your future when you're young and you're not in a position to raise that child.
Instead of trying to retard proof something, and this is where the traditional conservatives will preach discipline. They would just preach discipline instead of trying to dummy proof something. Preach discipline. If you're not out here, giving it. If you're not out here, smashing anything that you could see within an eye's reach, then you wouldn't have to worry about that. Now I do understand. I know the stats that Myron and Fresh will bring up. Most guys are not sexually active nowadays. A lot of youngins, low testosterone. They on this hub and that hub. You know what I'm saying? I get that, but I'm just saying, to dummy proof something like that is really putting low expectations. What you should be telling men more so than trying to dummy proof something for them and telling them to get a vasectomy, possibly, altering or messing with their chances at having a family someday, is to be disciplined. Practice the discipline. That's important. That's very important, because you know what? If I'm just being honest, getting a vasectomy incentivizes having more casual hookup sex, and these are the same guys on their show that will admit that one of the main things that gets men in trouble, especially successful men and men who are trying to be successful, is messing around with women. It's always a woman that ends up getting a successful man caught up with this type of allegation. If you practice in discipline and only dealing with women who deserve your time, or who meet a certain criteria, who hit a certain standard for you, then that's probably not something that you'll have to deal with. But if you just out here just slanging it, then that becomes a very real possibility. At the end of the day, as a guy, it really comes down to what you consider to be a high value man. There's a big hole in masculinity right now because society at large in the West, has downplayed masculinity, and we've emasculated men to a point that guys will look up to any dude and say that he's the man and that's the man. A lot of young cats, young dudes didn't have strong male role models. It's a lot of kids that couldn't say that their dad was the male role model that they needed or that they wanted or that they could look up to. A lot of young guys didn't even have dads in the house, depending on what demographic you talking about or you looking at. So it's a big hole when it comes down to masculinity and having a masculine figure. So that's why so many men are, flocking to these men's spaces and just taking whatever, advice they can get when it comes to getting girls and getting in shape and becoming successful. But money isn't the only predicator of success. To be high value, you have to have a certain character. But, high value, it really does mean different things to different people. Some dudes hear this high value stuff and flock to it. And, they get some money and they say that they high value, but they don't even have the character traits that would, consider you to be a high value person. And then some people, think that being high value is all about character. I would definitely say, if we just being 100% real, it's a combination of both. You got to stand on business in a real world, but also stand on principles and stand on discipline from a character perspective.
That's what he's saying.
We all know what is men's biggest weakness: women. And as a result, what happens is, what's another factor for not having success? Having a kid too early. That's reality.
That's the number one wealth killer, dude. Yeah, kids. If you really look at it, it's the number one wealth killer.
Now, once again, we support families.
Yeah, we do.
But at the same time, for what he's saying, to become successful at a young age,
you can't say that you support families and also tell your audience to get a vasectomy.
We didn't say that. We just said you're
toting the fence about.
We're explaining why he said that.
Do you agree?
I understand why he said it.
You see how you're ducking? You see how you're ducking the? It's a simple question.
But it's on me. It's not about me. It's about the generational.
I'm asking your opinion. opinion.
No. Sneako, you're funny.
It's just a question.
No.
But we make the girls on the panel answer questions specifically all the time. It's just,
Hold
do
on,
you
hold on.
agree? Yes or no?
Personally, my decision has
Oh,
nothing to do
duck
with
it,
this
man.
discussion. I'm just saying for you, bro.
Politician answer.
If you didn't know, this is SNEAKO right here, the guy who was pushing back against Rollo Tomassi's idea of getting a vasectomy in your 20s. And I think it's good that SNEAKO's stepping away from the red pill for a little bit. He just had a whole episode that he went through. I'm not even about to get into that, but just Google or YouTube SNEAKO beef if you want to see anything about that. SNEAKO beef, you could figure out all of that for yourself. But I think it's good that he's stepping away from the red pill a little bit and just getting different perspectives on life, getting a more refined perspective on life. He's talking about family, some mature stuff that he's talking about. I think Myron and Fresh, I think that they are both so biased to their own side that they aren't as willing to call out or, speak out against a ridiculous idea when it comes from one of their red pill friends like Rollo Tomassi. Like, I get it. Y'all homies, y'all cool. You might not want to upset the godfather of the red pill, but when it comes down to this getting a vasectomy in your 20s thing, man, I think that's something you gotta say something about that. Because like SNEAKO said, if you were really for families, if you're really about family, you're not gonna advocate for men to get a vasectomy in their 20s. And let's just look at the list again. Just to take into consideration the complete context, like Fresh was saying, Rollo Tomassi said the quickest path to becoming a high-value man: do not get married, avoid family creation, vasectomy in your 20s, lift consistently, eliminate all sedations, learn game and networking, play to your strengths, build wealth, resist easing up on your focus. So, okay, number 8, number 7, number 6, number 5, number 4, stay in the gym. Like, that's cool, bro. I think all of these are cool. I think four and down is awesome. But it's just the vasectomy thing. The don't get married, avoid family creation. Obviously someone like Ben Shapiro who got married and has had a pretty good story to tell from it. He hasn't had the disaster story of marriage that a lot of people have. Of course he's going to be against something like that. But to all the red pill people who think that there's no masculinity, within Christianity or within the Bible, it says to have Christ as the head, have man under Christ, have the woman under Christ and man, and have children underneath Christ, the man, the woman. And yeah, and that's the structure right there. That's a masculine structure because you are the head underneath Christ, and Christ was a man. So I mean, that's a masculine frame right there. The Bible promotes you being a strong leader in the real world and spiritually for your woman, for your family, in your community. It advises all of that stuff. So, let's just compare that to Ben Shapiro's list. Number 1, stay healthy. Number 2, get a job. Number 3, get married. Number 4, go to church, synagogue. 5, have kids. And 6, develop a skill set and deploy it in the most market-driven way. To be honest, I think these guys are just talking past each other. I mean, they both have two different ideas of what it takes to become a high-value man. But like I said, when you have masculinity under attack the way it is under attack where we reside in the West, there will be all different types of quote unquote masculine figures, all types of men competing for the attention and the viewership of young men. I would imagine as an adult that these guys want to lead men down the right path and not a wrong path. And like I said, when it comes to Rollo Tomassi, 5 through 8, I could give him all of these. You got to learn how to network. You got to understand how girls work, eliminate all sedations, play to your strengths, build wealth, resist easing up on your focus. I wouldn't tell any guy to not do any of these things. But where he loses me don't get married, avoid family creation, and get a vasectomy in your 20s. Like, that's crazy. So it really all depends on what you want as a guy. But I thought this was very interesting. But that's all I got for you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe on your way out the door. Let me know what you thought about this in the comments down below. Ladies, tap in. Guys, tap in. Let me know what you thought about this. I'm out. Till next time, you guys. I'm out of here. Peace.